Have you ever felt completely invisible? Like you're shouting into a void, and no one even turns their head? You try your best. You offer your help. You share your ideas. But it's like you don't even exist. If that feeling is familiar, then this story is for you. This is the story of William Hart, a young man who lived in a village that didn't see him until he changed everything. Welcome to the small, forgotten village of Oakhaven, nestled between rolling green hills and a quiet, meandering river. Life here was simple, predictable. The baker baked his bread, the farmer tended his fields, and the blacksmith forged his tools. Everyone had a place, a role, a voice. Everyone, it seemed, except for William Hart. William was a kind young man with a heart full of ideas and a spirit eager to contribute. But in the bustling marketplace or the lively town square, his voice was just a whisper lost in the wind. He'd tried to offer a suggestion at the village meetings, only to be spoken over. He'd try to help a neighbor mend a fence, and they'd take his work for granted, sometimes not even offering a simple thank you. He'd walk through the village, and people would look right through him. He wasn't disliked. He was simply unnoticed. The weight of this invisibility pressed down on him day after day. He began to speak less, to stay inside more. His once bright eyes grew dim, and a quiet sadness became his constant companion. He felt like a ghost in his own home, a footnote in his own life story. He wondered, what was the point of trying if no one ever saw you? One particularly gray afternoon, after another failed attempt to have his idea for a new irrigation system heard, William retreated to the edge of the village. He sat by the river, watching the water flow endlessly, feeling just as lost and directionless. He felt a deep sense of despair creeping in. Was this all his life would ever be? A silent, unseen struggle? Just as he was about to give up entirely, a figure approached him. It was old man Elmsworth, the village carpenter. Elmsworth was a man of few words, but his hands told stories through the beautiful, sturdy furniture he crafted. He didn't say hello. He just sat down beside William, his gaze fixed on the river. For a long time, they sat in silence. It wasn't an awkward silence, but a comfortable one, filled with the gentle sounds of nature. Finally, Elmsworth turned his weathered face to William, his eyes holding a depth of wisdom that seemed as old as the hills. "You're trying to make them hear you by shouting, son," he said, his voice raspy like sandpaper on old wood. "But you're shouting in a storm. No one hears a single raindrop in a downpour." William looked down, defeated. "What else can I do?" "It feels like I'm invisible." Elmsworth smiled faintly. "Then stop trying to be seen. Stop trying to be heard." He picked up a smooth, gray stone from the riverbank. "Respect isn't taken, William. It isn't demanded with noise. It's earned. It's earned through presence. It's a silent strength. Like this stone, it doesn't shout, but it has weight. It has substance. Be the stone, not the ripple." Those words echoed in William's mind long after the old carpenter had gone. Respect is silent strength, not noise. What did that even mean? How could you earn respect by being silent when his silence was the very thing that made him invisible? It seemed like a riddle. But with nothing left to lose, William decided to try. The next day, something inside William shifted. He made a quiet promise to himself. He would stop trying to force his way into conversations. He would stop complaining about being ignored. Instead, he would observe. At the next village meeting, he didn't try to speak. He sat at the back and listened. He truly listened, not just to the words being said, but to the concerns behind them. He noticed the farmer's worries about the dry spell, the mother's concerns about the old bridge, the merchant's frustrations with the muddy roads. He saw the whole picture, not just his own small part in it. He stopped offering help and just started helping. He saw a neighbor's gate hanging loose on its hinges. Instead of pointing it out, he quietly retrieved his tools and fixed it. He didn't wait for thanks. He just did the work and moved on. He noticed the well was getting harder to draw water from. In his spare time, he studied its mechanism, cleaned out the debris, and reinforced the pulley system. Slowly, quietly, things in the village started to work a little better. He dedicated himself to his own skills. He was a decent woodworker, but he wanted to be more. He spent hours with Old Man Elmsworth, not talking much, but watching his hands, learning the craft, feeling the grain of the wood. He learned to build things that were not only useful, but beautiful. He became a master of his craft in silence. He also learned to control his own reactions. When someone dismissed him or spoke to him rudely, he didn't get angry or retreat into sadness. He would simply hold their gaze for a moment, offer a calm, steady nod, and walk away. His silence wasn't one of weakness anymore. It was one of control, of quiet confidence. It was the silence of a man who knew his own worth and didn't need others to validate it. At first, no one really noticed. Or if they did, they didn't say anything. But then, a strange thing started to happen. The changes were small, almost imperceptible, like the turning of the seasons. The farmer whose irrigation system William had privately sketched out and improved found his crops flourishing. One day in the market, he walked up to William. "That idea you had, it worked. How did you know?" During a heated debate about the failing bridge, when everyone was shouting over each other, the village elder suddenly said, "Quiet. Let's hear what William thinks. He's been watching that bridge for weeks." All eyes turned to William. The sudden attention was startling, but he was ready. He stood up, and in a calm, clear voice, he didn't just point out the problem. He presented a simple, elegant solution he had designed, inspired by Elmsworth's carpentry. His plan was practical, well thought out, and brilliant. The village was silent. Then a murmur of agreement spread through the crowd. People started to seek him out. "William, could you look at this table leg for me? William, what do you think is the best way to shore up this wall?" They weren't just asking for his help. They were asking for his opinion, his guidance. His silence was no longer a sign of invisibility. It had become a space for thought, a symbol of wisdom. His presence now had that weight Elmsworth spoke of. When he was in a room, people felt it. When he spoke, it was because he had something important to say. And so, everyone listened. William Hart hadn't become louder. He hadn't changed who he was at his core. He had simply changed how he carried himself. He transformed his frustration into focus, his desperation into dedication. He had learned the profound power of silent strength. He realized that true respect isn't something you can demand from others. It is a reflection of the respect you have for yourself, demonstrated through your actions, your patience, and your purpose. The village of Oakhaven was never the same. It wasn't because of a loud revolution, but because of a quiet transformation that started with one young man who decided to stop shouting and start being. He taught them all that you don't need to be the loudest voice in the room to be heard. You just need to be the one worth listening to. So if you have ever felt ignored, if you've ever felt invisible, remember the story of William Hart. Maybe your silence isn't your weakness. Maybe it's the fertile ground where your greatest strength can grow. Maybe it's time to stop trying to be heard and start becoming someone worthy of being listened to. Your presence has weight. Let your actions speak for you. If this story resonated with you, share it with someone who might need to hear this message today. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that inspire.